Marian, welcome. Great
Thank
to
you.
hear from you today at the conference.
Yeah.
Could we kick off just perhaps, could you tell us a bit more about the key pillars of DVSA's strategy to keep Britain moving safely and sustainably?
Yeah, I'd be really happy to. So just as I was saying at conference, we've got 5 pillars that we think are incredibly important for our strategy. So the first one is making our roads safer. So you wouldn't expect us to be leading with anything different to that. And it is really, really important that we keep our focus on road safety because there are too many people dying on our roads. So even though our roads are incredibly safe compared to other countries, we all believe, I know, that reducing deaths on our roads is a really important element. So that's really important for us. We also want to harness technology and data. And how do we use that to, in my team, evaluate the risk to road safety, but actually what data can tell us about road safety and also about the future of travel and technology. We want to improve the services to our customers, really, really important. Our customers are telling us what they need and what they want it quickly. And we want people to be able to access our services really, really quickly and easily at a time that suits them. So that's an important part of it. We also want to be more sustainable. We want to make sure that our services are provided in a sustainable way, but also recognising our role in the whole of society around sustainability, reducing emissions, the health of our country. Those particulate matters that I've learnt more about recently that I didn't really understand very much about before is quite frightening. For a tyre to lose 1.5 kilos of its weight in its useful life, and for that part of that to be out there in the atmosphere for all of us to be breathing in, I think, concerns us all. And of course, we also want to make sure that we are levelling up and growing the economy. Haulage is such an important part of the economy of the UK. £13.6 billion it contributes to the economy of the UK. So supporting the haulage industry is very, very important.
Great, okay, thank you. Lots to focus on there. Now obviously a key part of your role is around compliance and enforcement, but what do you do to support and encourage compliant operators?
So absolutely at the heart of what I'm about, and sometimes I think being the Director of Enforcement, it's all about investigations and prosecutions. It's not for me. We do have to do some of that, but absolutely at the heart of what we're about is earned recognition. The earned recognition scheme is about us working with the most compliant operators to be confident about their record for road safety, to allow them to get on and deliver their business unencumbered, uninterrupted by any of my team's activities, because we have got the serially and serially non-compliant who are not doing that. So actually enabling, which is the first element of my strategy, enabling people to get it right, making information clear and accessible, like the new load security guidance that we published last year, an opportunity for us to help everybody in the industry to understand what safe loading looks like. That will reduce accidents.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, thank you. And I think your enforcement strategy is all about enable, respond and react. Could you just tell us a bit more about what those mean? So
enable's the first one, which I mentioned. Really at the heart of what we're about is helping people to get it right. We don't want to need to intervene with vehicles that are dangerous or drivers that are tired. We actually don't want those vehicles or those drivers on the road in the first place. So it's about clear guidance. It's about people being able to have access to the standards and for those to be clearly explained, just like our new guidance for load security, just like as well where we've translated the walk-around check guidance into 22 different languages, making that available to other countries, to drivers from other countries. So the prevent part of our strategy, that is all about how to use data and technology. I explained how now we can trace a journey. We can also, we've had a pilot where we've been looking at vehicles out of MOT, so commercial vehicles that haven't gone and got their MOT. We can use the NAS data, the National ANPR Service data, to check whether those vehicles are on the road, and then we can write and correspond with the operators and work with them. Now, the great majority then comply. Those that don't, well, they need the respond part of my strategy, which is where we will go and work more. There'll be some intense scrutiny, is a phrase that I quite often use, that might not be enjoyed, but what we really want to do is change behaviour. We want operators to work with us to get things right.
Yeah, and safety is at the heart of everything,
absolutely,
isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely at the heart.
And I suppose on that point, is there a balance to be struck, do you think, between enforcement and efficient logistics?
Yeah, and our earned recognition operators tell us that that is absolutely what can be done. They can be members of earned recognition and save money in the way that they deliver their business. Now, if that isn't, a reason to come and find out more about earned recognition, I don't know what is. So that's what I would encourage people to do, to come and find out more about earned recognition, because absolutely the principles that we believe are about working within your operator licence requirements, putting road safety at the heart that you do, but delivering your business in a profitable way.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, and just to end on perhaps, what's the future for DVSA? What might it look like in the future?
I think for DVSA in the future, I think we will be embracing new technology, so some of the data that we're using, but actually, will we need to think about the driving test or the MOT? If vehicles have got new technology on them, how do we test that that technology is safe, is still being used in a safe way? So I think some of the skills that I've got at the moment in my teams will need to be enhanced by other skills, exactly as the same way as the industry is looking. But we will absolutely be focusing on sustainability. So for example, I've got electric vehicles in my fleet of cars. We've just converted one of my stopper cars. We've now got one as an electric vehicle that we're trialling. So those are going to be really important elements for us to understand. And the connected and autonomous vehicles, I was talking to a member of the team earlier. We're working absolutely with industry and with the department to understand what that means for in-use. The new legislation that was announced at the end of last year is something that we're heavily involved with. What will the regulations be? We're involved in all of those conversations before we take those steps forward as a country to understand how autonomous vehicles, for example, can help us to make deliveries more efficient and safer.
Yeah, I think there's a huge opportunity there to make roads safer with autonomous vehicles, not just for commercial vehicles, but domestic vehicles as well. But it does feel like it's a long way off still.
Well, I mean, some of the technology's already there.
The technology is, but I think maybe it's public perception and.
Yeah, I mean, we know that around about 80% of members of the public, and I'm a little bit nervous, I can be honest and say that I'm not sure about what that means for us in the future. So I'm dedicated to find out more, and I know that we've got teams that are really involved in the detail to understand what it means, what opportunities does it offer, but also what are the challenges that we face to make sure that everybody feels safe. Because if there is a mixed economy on the road, that's going to be one of the areas that's going to be the most difficult, I think, for us to navigate. But that's why we put in our best people into those teams.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. Exciting future.
Exactly right, yeah.
Thank you for talking to us today, Marian.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.